In today's video, we're plunging into the past to unearth 20 minimalist lessons that helped our ancestors weather high inflation. So get comfortable, grab a cup of coffee, and let's embark on this fascinating journey into history. Let's kick things off with Lesson 1, the power of barter. History is replete with examples where, during severe inflation or economic crisis, money often lost its value. The people of those times then resorted to bartering goods and services. Interestingly, this practice still holds merit today, especially in local communities and networks, where a sense of trust and reciprocity already exists. Coming up is Lesson 2, the art of food preservation. Food is a basic necessity, and during periods of inflation, its prices can escalate rapidly. Our ancestors effectively tackled this issue by preserving food using techniques such as canning, drying, and pickling. By adopting these methods, we can ensure a steady supply of food items even during price hikes. In Lesson 3, we delve into the security of tangible assets. People of the past often perceived the fluctuating nature of money's value. As a result, they leaned towards investing in tangible assets like property, livestock, or precious metals. These assets served as a safety net during inflation, a strategy that can still be effectively utilized in our modern times. Lesson 4 brings us to the victory garden concept. Drawing from the era of world wars, the victory gardens were promoted to counter food scarcity. Having your own small garden, growing vegetables and herbs, not only provides a source of fresh food, but also serves as a therapeutic activity and a learning opportunity for younger generations. Let's now turn to Lesson 5, the practice of mending and repairing. It's noteworthy how our forebears appreciated and implemented the practice of repairing over replacing. They mended clothes, fixed appliances, and extended the life of their belongings instead of readily replacing them. This frugal practice is not just wallet-friendly, but also incredibly sustainable and environment-friendly. Moving on to Lesson 6. The habit of saving in small increments. We often think of saving in terms of money, but during inflationary times, our ancestors saved in commodities. They stored grains, fabric, or other items that retained their value and utility even during an economic crisis. This strategy can inspire us to diversify our savings and not solely rely on monetary assets. Lesson 7. The benefits of multiple income streams. Our ancestors often had a diverse range of skills and used them to create multiple income streams. Whether it was selling homemade produce, offering a service, or having a part-time job, they ensured that their earnings were not tied to a single source. In today's gig economy, this approach is even more applicable and achievable. Lesson 8 takes us to the power of community resources. Before we dive into the topic at hand, I have a small request to make. If you're enjoying this video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could show your support by subscribing to the channel. This way, you'll be the first to know about future content and updates, and it will also help us reach a wider audience. Thank you for your consideration. Sharing resources within a community like tools or books was a common practice during high inflation times. This ethos of sharing and mutual help can be a game changer in our present times, enabling us to live more sustainably and frugally. Here's Lesson 9, stockpiling smartly. One strategy that people employed during inflation was stockpiling necessary items before prices increased. This was particularly true for non-perishable goods or essentials that they knew they'd need in the future. We can learn from this and plan our purchases, especially when we know that prices are likely to rise. Heading into Lesson 10, prioritize needs over wants. A key principle to survive any economic crisis, including inflation, is to distinguish between needs and wants. By focusing on needs, it's possible to substantially cut down expenses and live within our means. Lesson 11 is about using natural resources wisely. Our forebears understood the value of resources like sunlight and wind, using them to their advantage for heating, drying clothes, or even generating power. These practices are not only sustainable but also cost-saving. In Lesson 12, we learned to maximize the use of every item. Nothing went to waste in the old days, from using vegetable scraps for compost or broth to repurposing old clothes into quilts or rugs. Every item was used to its fullest potential. This tip is as relevant today as it was back then. For Lesson 13, we rediscover the value of becoming a jack of all trades. Back in the day, people were skilled in a variety of tasks, from carpentry and sewing to cooking and farming. This not only made them self-reliant, but also saved costs on hiring services. We can adopt this ethos today by learning and cultivating a diverse set of skills. Lesson 14 is about buying in bulk. Our ancestors often bought supplies like grains or fuel in bulk, especially during pre-inflation times to counter price rises. While it might seem counterintuitive to spend more at once, buying in bulk can significantly reduce costs in the long run. Moving on to Lesson 15, invest in education. Our forebears considered knowledge and skills as an inflation-proof investment. Today, with numerous free educational resources available online, we can learn new skills or even change professions without spending much. Lesson 16 is about turning hobbies into income. It wasn't uncommon for people to turn their hobbies into a source of income during economic crises. Whether it's crafting, baking, writing, or gardening, you too can use your passions to create an additional income stream. Lesson 17. Live within your means. This is perhaps the most basic yet essential financial principle from our forebears. By always spending less than you earn, you ensure your financial stability regardless of the economic climate. Lesson 18 brings us back to the basics. Walk more. With the constant rise in fuel prices, walking or cycling was the preferred mode of transport for our ancestors. It's an excellent way to save money, improve your health, and reduce your carbon footprint. For Lesson 19, we explore the hand-me-down culture. Clothes, furniture, appliances, and even toys were passed down generations. Embracing this culture can reduce our expenditure and contribute to a more sustainable lifestyle. Finally, we come to Lesson 20, celebrate simply. Our ancestors knew how to celebrate without extravagant expenses. A meaningful celebration isn't about the cost, but the connection, and that's something we can definitely learn from. These lessons, while centuries old, are as relevant today as they were in the past. They serve as a timeless guide to surviving and thriving, even during high inflation or economic crisis. Before we end, I want to emphasize that these principles don't merely focus on survival. They're about creating a fulfilling, resilient, and sustainable life. They offer a path to financial independence, a buffer against economic uncertainties, and a blueprint for a minimalist lifestyle. I hope you found this journey into the past enlightening. If you did, please share this video with others who might benefit from it. And remember, to get the latest content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon.